Hi everyone, it's Kai. Welcome back to the channel, and today I have another haul video for you. This time it is everything that I picked up from Sweetie Nail Supply's recent end of summer sale. It's a combination of things that I purchased myself and also a few goodies that they sent to me to review for you all. Speaking of which, I do have some exciting news about Sweetie Nail Supply at the end of the video that I just wanted to hop on here and share with you all, hence the in-person intro. So I don't want to talk too much before getting into the haul. It is quite a lengthy one because I got a lot of new collections that I am super excited about trying out. For example, today we will be looking at the D-Gel Dry Rose collection. I also have the brand new Rosy Hip Quartz collection, which is a stunning set of cool tone cat eye polishes, which is not something I normally go for, so I'm really excited to swatch all of these with you guys. I also picked up the Gel and Gel, I think it's Kumi Clays, and I love 3D nail art. If you've been around the channel, you'll know that, and so I did just want to go ahead and give these ones a try. I'm always on the hunt for nail tips, so I do have some new nail tips to share with you guys too. And then I just got some other one-offs, some inks, a bunch of the Gina Nails products because those are brand new to Sweetie Nail Supply, so I am very keen to try out those. But I want to keep this intro kind of short, so make sure to stay tuned to the end for my announcement and also some really exciting news from Sweetie Nail Supply. I will have everything that I reviewed today linked in the description along with my discount code. It is GetPressed to save 10% off. But without too much more chit-chatting, let's get into the video. Alright, so first things first, let's talk nail tips because I actually picked these up a while ago. These ones are brand new, but these two here I've had for some time, and I just wanted to talk about them because I haven't put them in a haul yet. So these are from Softgel, and I actually purchased these a few months ago. Unfortunately, they are not currently available to US customers, I don't believe. Hopefully that can change in the near future because I absolutely love these. They are the extra long stiletto. This is the II version. This is just the standard, not the sculpted, but they are the perfect stiletto shape. But also I've recently been enjoying cutting them down to a long coffin. So here's a size 3. You do get what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You get 12 sizes. This is a size 3, and you'll see it's got a decent curvature to it. Like, it has a pretty nice apex, which I do need a little bit of an apex with my nail shape. It also has a decent C curve. It's not too pronounced though. I have a really deep C curve to some of my nails, and so I'm always looking for a nail tip that has enough of a C curve, enough of an apex, but not too much of a sculpted shape to where I get a huge gap between my nail and the nail tip. And these honestly have been perfect for me lately. I really like how nice and straight the sidewalls are of this extra long stiletto shape. Sometimes stilettos can come in to a point a little bit too early. It's got a little bit too much of a curve for me. So these are perfect for me to cut off just like a little bit from the edge here and make them into a gorgeous long coffin shape. I also like how they're not too curved. I do prefer a flatter coffin shape, one without too much of a C curve, and so these cut down super well. I used them actually recently in my cinema roll set, my mermaid cinema roll set, so I'll have that linked in the corner so you can check it out and see how the nails ended up. But yeah, I am a big fan of these ones here from Softgel. If you're in the US, you might check the website. I think Softgel has their own website, but everywhere else I believe Sweetie is shipping these out. I am just so sad that they aren't available to us currently, hoping that changes because I don't know what I'm going to do when I run out. However, for US-based customers, Sweetie did bring in these View Gel cling tips. So these are two different shapes, the medium oval and then the long transparent. This is a set of 550 pieces. This one is a smaller set. It's like a tester set, which I actually really like. They have a bunch of these shapes available so that you can kind of like give them a try, see if you like them. So this one comes with 180 pieces and they're relatively cheap. I think the 180 is like $11. I'll have the pricing up there, but it wasn't too expensive. So it's nice to be able to try them. So these are the long coffin, and as you can see, they are definitely like an extra long, I would say. They have a really nice length to them, which I do like. The curvature is not too extreme, and they do fit my nail beds well. They have a nice apex to them. You can see here, they're meant for more curved nails. Here's the C curve to them. So they do have a decently strong C curve. I do prefer just like an ever so slightly flatter coffin shape, which is why I've been cutting down those soft gel tips, but overall it is a nice shape. So these ones are nice. They're just a little bit longer than I expected, but if you have a strong C curve to your nails, if you need an apex, then I think they'd be a really good option. And then these ones I'm actually super excited to have because they fit my nails perfectly. So I love an oval shape, I love a round shape, and these ones just have the exact amount of C curve and apex to fit my natural nails pretty seamlessly. This is a number 2, and you can see it has quite a nice length to it. So if I did want to shorten it, I definitely could. I appreciate this length though, because sometimes I feel like I'm almost in between a medium and a long. I have quite long nail beds, decently long nail beds, so I do really appreciate it anytime a tip is on like just the slightly longer side, which I feel like these are for a medium size. Here's the apex. It's not super pronounced, but it's just enough to where it fits my slightly curved nails, which, to give you an idea, this is just a couple layers of gel overlaid on my natural nail. No like builder gel layer or anything like that. So my nails naturally do curve down ever so slightly. So this apex fits my natural nails very well. And then they do have a little bit of a C curve, enough to cover my sidewalls, my stubborn, steep sidewalls. And I really like the shape, honestly. So yeah, super excited to have these ones. So for brushes, I did pick up 2 again from Gina Nail. This is her liner, the milk tea liner. I'm pretty sure I'll have the name up in the corner. And then this was the mini oval brush. Now, as you can see, I've actually already opened this one here. It has a really cool handle system. So the cap itself comes off and then it turns into the handle, which I actually like. It saves some space. It's not quite as big as some of my other brushes. And the handle does fit pretty snug, so this is not going to like fly off or anything. It has a pretty tight fit. I don't know if you can hear it there. It actually makes quite the satisfying little pop sound. So yeah, I do like this design, and honestly, I've used this once and it's quickly becoming one of my favorite oval brushes. It's got nice long bristles, but that rounded shaped tip. And it's just super soft and smooth. So application is very buttery. I'll show you in a second with some polish, but so far I've used this once and I am loving it. It's such a nice quality. And then the other brush that I picked up, and I actually accidentally ordered 2 of these, but this is her liner brush. It is not the skinniest liner brush. In fact, I got it specifically because it did look like it had a little bit of a thicker point. So it does come with its own cap, which is how I buy all of my brushes now. Honestly, I don't really buy brushes unless they come with their own cap, just because it's so convenient to have. It protects the brush if you accidentally leave it in a sunny area. But here's what the tip looks like, and as you can see, it's not like, again, a really skinny fine liner brush. If anything, it's almost like a mini typical traditional art paintbrush, where it does have a slight taper to the end there, but you could get some thicker lines by pressing down more. So I'm really excited to try this on some hand painted designs. So speaking of Gina Nail, I did pick up a bunch of her oil painting gels. These are like non-wipe textured gels in various colors. She does amazing floral work, like super gorgeous painterly flowers that I really want to try. I've done plenty of painted flowers, not so much with like these textured gels, but just with normal painting gels and things like that. So I wanted to give this a go. Now you can buy these all as a collection. Unfortunately, it was sold out, so they only had the singles. So I picked up the colors that I thought I would use most. I also picked up the colors that I don't have in another type of like textured painting gel, because I do have the Divock Canvas Mini collection that I really like using. And I also have the Favori Made collection number 3, I think. 3 or 4, I'll have to double check. But they're also like textured painting gels, and so I did want to just pick up some of the colors that I don't think I already had, or I didn't have a similar enough shade. And then this one here is actually a different type of gel. It's her non-wipe jelly gels that are chrome ready. So we'll test this one separately. But let's start by swatching the black. So this is Ebony Black, number 14, and you get 3 grams in the pots. The pots are on the smaller side, but with this kind of gel, you're not using it over the whole nail. You're using it really for like small details. So it's going to last you a decent amount of time. Okay, and they are sealed. Let's see how easy this is to get off. Ooh, you know what? One thing that's kind of silly is I do often measure product quality by how easy it is to peel off the covering on top, because I noticed some of the cheaper products, they have those like thin films on top that are super difficult to remove for absolutely no reason whatsoever. So I really appreciate when a potted polish makes it really nice and easy to access. And here's what the black looks like. I don't know if you can see in there, but it's super stiff. I like that it has the little shelf that you can scrape your brush off with. I'm actually just going to do the swatches with my palette knife. This is honestly one of my favorite ways to do art with these sorts of like 3D texture gels. I think I want to do another guide on 3D texture gels. I just did one for 3D nail molds, and now I'm thinking about doing one for these sorts of like thicker textured gels. So let me know if that's something that you would be interested in. But here is the black, and it's definitely black. Like, it's a nice dark color. It is more, I would say, on maybe the brown side of black. Like, it's not a blue black base, if that makes sense, but it is a pretty nice neutral black. And honestly, I'm just gonna scrape this off right on top, but I'll give that a cure. And these do cure with a non-white finish, so they don't have a tacky layer. However, they are going to cure slightly matte. Like you can see here, it's not super shiny. It is more of a matte finish. So they aren't for chrome. Like a chrome's not going to be able to stick to this because it does have that matte finish. But that does mean you can add it like as a last layer of detail on a nail and not have to worry about top coating it after, which I appreciate in a texture gel, because when you top coat, you tend to lose a lot of that texture. All right, now we have Mocha Cocoa. That's so satisfying when they peel off like that. So here's Mocha Cocoa, and I really like this. It's such a nice, cool toned brown. A lot of the times when you get a brown, it's pretty warm toned, a little bit yellow, but this is just like a really nice neutral brown. Very much a fan. So that's Mocha Cocoa. Ooh, you can really see on this one here how mattifying that surface is. Now, you know what I'm noticing with this is actually I've still got uncured gel under this right here with even this amount of thickness. So I would really recommend, if you're going to use this, to do super thin layers. Like, you don't want anything more than probably a millimeter, because even at this thickness here, I still had some uncured gel, so I'm gonna toss this. Okay, so this is my new swatch. It's super thin. I just did like a barely there layer. Okay, there we go. And that one is cured all the way through. So yeah, a little really does go a long way with these ones. Super thin layers is what you want to work in. If you're going to do a thicker look, cure in layers. So the 3 grams is probably going to last you quite some time because I barely used any here on this swatch. Let's look at caramel milk next. Ooh, so this one is definitely more of like a deeper tan than I thought, which makes sense looking at the lid, but it's just a really nice sort of neutral tan color. So there's caramel milk. I do really like that this line is all super muted nature colors. Those are my preferred color sets, like muted, deep colors, and springy pastels. Up next is burgundy. Ooh, and that's like a really pretty deep red. Very neutral, not too orange, not too purple. That's a gorgeous color. I'm just using like the tiniest amount in these swatches here. Here's the burgundy cured. You can sheer it out a little bit and it's going to be a lighter color. So if you want a darker color, you'll just have to go in with a couple layers. And then we have a marigold. Now I have an orange from the Divock canvas set, but I'm hoping this one is just a slight bit deeper. Ooh, okay. Yeah, this is very much like a fall pumpkin-y orange. So it is nice to have this because it is slightly different than the one that I already have, which is more of like a bright fruity orange. This is absolutely perfect for spooky season. I can't wait to get into Halloween nails. And our yellow, this is canary. Ooh, yeah. Okay, and this is, it's almost like, oh my gosh, I sound like I'm going through puberty. I swear I'm not, I'm just sick. But this is almost like a mustard yellow. Oh my gosh, the kids at school are getting a kick right now out of my voice because, you know, they're teenagers. And so they get all embarrassed when their voice cracks. And I get to make them feel a little bit better about that right now with the amount that my voice is currently cracking all the time. So here is canary. That's quite bright on the swatch there. And that's what it looks like all cured. Very, very much like true mustard yellow. And we've got grass green. The green that comes with the Divock canvas set is very much like a true super pigmented green. I would say that's one of the big differences between these collections is the Gina paints are a little bit more of a desaturated natural color, whereas the mini canvas from Divock is like true pigmented color, so you get really nice vibrant shades that you would mix to tone down, whereas these are already toned down. So it just depends on the style, the look that you're going for. Ooh, yes. And this is like the perfect forest green. Oh my God, that is gorgeous. The name is very accurate. Yes, that is exactly the green I was looking for out of this. Just a really nice desaturated green. Okay, and last but not least, I have ocean blue, and this is gonna be like a really nice aqua or teal. Ooh, wow. Okay, yeah, that's definitely like a bright peacock blue. That's really striking. So pretty. I have like a pastel blue and a true blue, but not one that was like this aqua. So I'm super excited to have this one. Okay, so here are the Gina oil paints. I really like the look of them. I love that the finish is non-wipe, so you can add them as a last step on a textured set. and you won't lose any of the texture that you create with them. Great for tweed nails, great for florals, that oil paint look. Abstract nail art, I just think they are an awesome type of gel to have. And I really like the colors. They're very natural looking, very pigmented, very saturated. Again, I would just recommend carrying in thin layers and building up the coverage with multiple layers if you want like a more textured, more thick look, just to make sure that you can fully cure all the way through them. But yeah, so far I am super impressed with these. Now the other one I have from her is one of her non-wipe jelly gels. I was super curious about these ones because they are supposed to be like a thicker, almost like sculpting clay. They're non-wipe and you're supposed to be able to add chrome over top of them. Okay, so here's what this looks like. It's super pretty. I got the white, the pearl, and they do have a few different colors. Some of them are just like a clear jelly color, while some of them are shimmery like this. And it's gorgeous. It's almost like a slightly peachy pink toned white. But let me cure just a little bit of this. I'll dig out some to put on a palette and then we'll see if we can chrome over it. I'm just gonna use the excess that's in the pot near the top. So it's very much like a 3D clay, I would say. It's quite thick. You can roll it in your glove. It doesn't seem to be sticking too much, actually, which is nice. For the sake of this experiment, though, we're gonna put it on our little palette. I'll give that a cure, and then we'll see if we can put chrome over. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna let it sit and self-level for about a minute, just to get rid of my glove prints in there. Okay, so the closest chrome I had was the Aloha Blue from Bonnie B. So let's just see what this looks like. Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that definitely took the chrome powder. Oh, that's so fun. And it's a little bit bouncy, but it does cure fairly solid. Well, that's cool. So I'm excited to use this. Honestly, I wasn't planning on using it with chrome per se. It was more just to have a nice pearlescent 3D clay to work with. But that is an added bonus. And I realized I never shut off these brushes. So while I have this palette out, let me go ahead and do that. So I might as well use our black painting gel so that you can see kind of like what these look like in application. So this is the liner brush. And you can see that it gives you thin lines, but it's not too thin. Like if you wanted to get a small petal shape, you could achieve that with this. Like you could get a really nice tiny petal with this if you have enough product on the end of the brush. You can also get decently thin lines with it. So yeah, I thought this would make just like a really nice small detailer brush. And then this round brush, again, super soft. I really like it. You could get bigger petals with it by kind of like turning it on an angle. Just pushing and pulling. This would be really fun for like feathers or butterfly wings. And then you can also use it to paint larger areas. And because it's so soft, you can get a really smooth application. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this one. I think it's a great in-between for like a large round brush while not sacrificing length. I think the length of this is really good so that you can flex it and drag it and get like those nice swoops, those nice petal shapes, I think the length is necessary for that. All right, so up next, let's look at the Gumi gel. I think they're Gumi or Kumi. I'm not sure. The double G in Korean. I am not totally clear on. But these are from the brand Gel and Gel, and I have the Gel and Gel Pearl collection, the Jinju collection, and it's so pretty. It's a set of really stunning, sparkly, shimmery, bright colored polishes. So I have had good experiences with Gel and Gel, and I do use a lot of 3D clays. Mostly I use Cristalloneri clays, but I wanted to try these ones because they are a slightly different texture. You get 5 colors in the set, and I believe they have like 6 or 7 sets now available with different finishes. Some are sparkly, some are shimmery. I just got the first set because honestly, I wanted the white and the black and the pink. You get a brown, and then you also get an orange. So let's open all of these up. So this here is the white. Oh wow, no cover. Okay, I was expecting to have to peel something. So these are gonna be like a super bouncy texture, not like a Play-Doh consistency, which is what I'm usually using, is one that has more of a true clay consistency. This is more of like almost like a thicker poly gel, I would say. Super gummy. You can see it bounces back a little bit, but they are supposed to cure solid, which is what I wanted. I wanted some that would cure hard, that I could file if needed. So I'm just gonna take a ball here. Very, very stretchy. And I just rolled that decently thick. I'm gonna cure it for 60 seconds and see if it cures all the way through. This is the black. Ooh, wow. That's a super deep black. I don't know what I was expecting. Like, of course it's gonna be dark. That's really pretty. I think it is ever so slightly transparent. Like, you can see here, it's not a pure black, which I think is good. I don't know if it would cure properly. If it were completely opaque, you need some transparency. So yeah, let me do a teeny tiny little cure test with this one too. Because I feel like if any color is going to be tough to cure, it's going to be this black. So here's our white, and it is quite solid, but you can see that underneath where it's on the palette, it's still a little soft. So I'm actually going to flip this over and cure from the underside. I personally make my charms off the nail. That way I can cure from both sides and get the underside nice and cured. I don't really do charms on the nail itself. And if I'm doing that, then I'll try to do it on a clear nail, something that where the light can penetrate. So let me cure the underside. Okay, so I cured it from the underside as well. And then let me just cut into it and see. Oh, it's pretty difficult to cut. I'll give it that. Okay, yeah, curing from the other side, it's pretty solidly cured now all the way through to the middle. You definitely want to check your own lamp though if you're going to use it. Just see how much thickness you can get away with. You'll just want to test your own. And then same for the black. I just cured on both sides and it's feeling pretty sturdy, pretty hard. Yeah, and it's pretty difficult to cut into. Yeah, and that seems cured to me. So you can get pretty thick with these ones. Again, just make sure you're testing your lamp because mine's going to be a little bit different. But they do cure hard, so you could file them into shape if you wanted like really nice sharp edges. So yeah, I'm excited to play around with these. This is the pink. It's just a really pretty light baby pink. This is the orange. Also really perfect for Halloween time. Very cute. And then this is the brown. I think this was supposed to be good for like teddy bears and things like that. And it's nice. I probably won't be using the orange and the brown that much, but definitely I will get some use out of the pink and the black and the white. The only thing I wish was that you could buy singles of these. They're only available in a set. Now what you can buy singles though of is the clear. So this is the Gumi Gel Clear. And this one comes in a 30-gram pot, I'm pretty sure. Oh, it's 25 grams. So this one comes in a 25-gram pot. And I wanted the clear just so that I would have something to paint over if I do like 3D molds or 3D charms that I want to paint afterward. Okay, and this one came with a cover. Ooh, interesting. So here's the clear, and it's definitely like a little cloudy, at least before it's cured. Let's see if I can get some out of here. And I think that's to help with the hardness. That's what I've noticed, is the ones that are like a little on the cloudy side in the pot, they do cure clear, but they also cure a little bit harder. So I will roll this and give it a cure as well. Now, another nice thing about the clear ones is that because they're clear, they are going to cure all the way through with the thicker shapes. So if you're trying to do a charm that's much thicker, then I would recommend getting a clear 3D gel, doing the charm in the clear, and then going in and painting over it rather than trying to use a colored gel for something that's super thick. Okay, so here's that clear clay, and you can actually see that it cleared up a ton once it cured. It actually has quite a decent clarity to it now. And again, it's a very hard texture, definitely cures all the way through. So yeah, for your larger charms, I would recommend this one. That way you can paint over it and you can just make sure that everything is getting cured all the way through. Okay, and on to another sort of like special effect product that I got. This is the Rosy Hip RYJ01, and it is a textured metallic gel. So it comes in a pot like this. I have been waiting and waiting and waiting for the Favori metal object to come back into stock. It's like a thicker textured metal gel. It's still out of stock, so I decided to pick this up just to try it. I don't think it's like a chrome gel though. I think it's supposed to be like shimmery and metallic, but not like a mirror gel. Okay, yeah. So it's nice. It is this like super shiny, silvery textured gel. It doesn't have a mirror finish, but it's got a pretty nice shine to it. That is quite nice. I could see how this would be really pretty with like a texture brush of some sort. And that's what it looks like. It's quite pretty. It reminds me of like a silver metallic gel pen. It honestly feels very nostalgic. Brings me back to the days of like silver gold metallic paint pens. Those were all of the rage when I was in school. If you had a metallic pen, you were super cool. Okay, and then I did get a couple other singles. I got some inks from 3 different brands, or 2 different brands. And then I got a yogurt gel Korea syrup gel, and then a more magnetic gel, which I have not tried a magnetic gel from More. So I'm super excited for that. But let's start with the inks. Okay, so I got 3 inks. I got 2 from More and 1 from Yogurt Gel. They're from all different collections, and I only got singles because I do have quite a few of inks from the Favori. And while I love inks, I don't use them too much, but I did want to branch out and try a couple different brands and see how they work, how they might be different than the ones from the Favori. I also have the Doughy Marbly set, which is one of my favorite. It's just a white ink that I love. So let's go ahead and swatch all of these. Okay, so let's start with the red. This is Apple Soda from the Soda Pop collection from More. Now, I love the Soda Pop collection. It's so pretty, but I already have some pastels from the Favori. So in an effort to not try to get too many duplicates, I just picked up the red. Ooh, and that is like the perfect apple red. That's so pretty. I am gonna go ahead and shake this just to make sure all the pigment is evenly distributed. Now, traditionally you would want to do this on a matte surface. I just don't have any prepared. So non-matte surface it is. Oh, well, I've already tipped it over. And of course it was a red color, so I'm gonna go clean this up. If you wanted an accurate swatch, I guess there's nothing more accurate than covering the entire swatch stick and my desk. Luckily you can't see that, and luckily this stuff doesn't stain. So alcohol inks, art inks like this, they will come off with acetone and or alcohol. You just want to get them wiped up really quickly before they have too much of a chance to dry. This one specifically, like once it dries, it doesn't have much of a tacky layer, but I noticed when it goes on, it's quite tacky. So these ones I would say you really want to be intentional about where you place them and then blend them with acetone or a blending liquid. Don't try to go in when it's still wet and blend with your brush, or you're going to get a little bit of streaking. Just something to note. But the color payoff, as you can see, is super vibrant. That's such a pretty red. So I just took a little bit of acetone to the bottle, and as you can see, it's good as new. So if you ever spill ink, acetone is the way to go to clean it up. However, if I do use acetone, I try to then change my gloves because acetone can eat away at nitrile and latex and even silicone. So yeah, just a little safety precaution. Okay, so up next is a green from their, I think it's the Garden collection. I went with this green because it looked like a really pretty matcha color. It's not the perfect matcha color. You want your matcha to be darker than this, but it's maybe like a nice matcha ice cream color. Okay, this time we're gonna swatch without spilling, hopefully. Yeah, so it's definitely safe with these ones. These are more of like a place it down and don't try to blend it with your brush. You don't want streaks, but you could go in with a brush and then blend with acetone. Super pretty color. This is like the perfect spring green that I was looking for. That is stunning. And I'm super excited to use these together, like this green with that red. I'm picturing like cute little ink strawberries or cherries. That would just be so stinking cute. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with these inks. I like that there's a lot of it in here because I spilled this red and I still have a ton left. Like you can barely tell that I spilled it, honestly. So I like the amount that comes in these. Just note that I would not move them once you place them unless you're blending with acetone. And then this yogurt nail ink is from the pajama set. And I don't have like a buttery yellow like this. I have a really bright yellow. I have more of like a neon yellow. So I wanted just a really pretty like pastel yellow. So I picked up this one here. Ooh, and that's really pretty. This is like exactly what I was looking for. Something really nice and sunny. Almost like a dandelion color, I would say. This one too, I'm noticing you don't want to pull your brush through it while it's wet. It's just slightly streaky too if you try to move it with the brush. And maybe that's just the swatchers that I'm using. The Nail Bio Marbly, I would say, is a little bit thinner than these ones. So you can move the inks a tiny bit once you've placed them. So this is just something that I am adjusting to, but that's a super cute color. Very happy with this one too, and excited to use it in some designs. So here are the 3 inks, very fruit themed unintentionally. I do also want to do a guide on different ways you can use inks because I think they're just so versatile. There's so much you can do with them and they're really fun in my opinion. But yeah, really excited to play around with these. Okay, so the next single that I got is from Yogurt Gel, but this is a syrup gel. It is number 49, the blue from their Tangulu collection. It's Aronia. Now, I got this because I was recently doing a Cinnamoroll Ocean set. I'll try to remember to link that in the corner. But I was looking for like a syrup royal blue, and I realized I didn't have one. I have like a syrup navy blue, things more on like the teal side and maybe on the gray side, but I didn't have one that was just like a true royal blue, so I'm hoping that's what this is. Ooh. Okay, that is quite pretty. And it's definitely the sort of like royal blue shade I was looking for. So this is promising. Like this under a cat eye gel. Like a silvery cat eye gel. Ooh, or mixed with the Bonnie B silver cat eye powder that I have. That could be stunning. Let's see what it looks like on the nail. Okay, yeah, that's quite pretty. I am very pleased with this. So this is layer number 1. There's maybe like a tiny bit of unevenness, but honestly, for such a dark color, like that's a pretty even first layer. It usually takes 2 or 3, I find, for these really dark colors to get nice even coverage. But this is exactly the color I was looking for, so I'm super happy to have it. And then I'm just gonna do a third coat for the heck of it, just to see what kind of like the deepest color is. And that color is super pretty. It's like a denim blue, I would say. Really nice though. That's exactly what I was looking for. All right, and then our last single is supposed to be like a sagey, smoky green from the More Sweet and Bitter collection. I love this entire collection. I almost pulled the trigger on buying the whole thing, but I did decide I wanted to test one out first just to see if I like the finish, if I like the consistency. Oh, and to show you the magnetization, I did get the Yogo cylindrical magnet. I saw that they were stocking these individually. I got one in my Mayo Eros collection ages ago, and I love this thing. It's such a nice, strong round magnet. Super happy to see that they had this. It's cheap too. It's like $4, I think, which if you get a discount, it's even less. And I think it just works so well. So let's see what this has in store. Ooh, okay. That's pretty. It's definitely a lot more muted than I thought it would be. Very much like a blue-gray. Seems to be a thicker textured cat eye, which I actually prefer the thicker ones because then you can get a nice thick layer of product, and instead of having to do multiple layers of cat eye and trying to activate the particles the same way each time, you can just do one thicker layer. Oh, you know what? On the nail, the green tones come out a little bit more, I would say. Yeah, this is like a gorgeous stormy sea type color. Okay, and then Moment of Truth. Oh yeah, that's nice and glossy. Really shiny there. Really smooth too. That's so pretty. I'm in trouble because now I want to pick up the whole set. That activates so well. Like, look at how shiny and glossy that is. Ugh. Well, that's definitely dangerous for me and my wallet. But I really like that. Okay, so very happy with this purchase. I'm gonna have to look at the other colors and see which ones I might really want to get. All right, so we're finally to the PR section of this video. So these two collections here were sent to me. They were kindly gifted by Sweetie Nail Supply. The rest of the stuff in this haul I purchased myself from the sale, but these two were gifted. Starting with this Dry Rose collection. Now, D-Gel I have tried their liner gels, which I really like their painting gels. I also have a couple of the mag gels from the Pearl Veil collection, which I'm thinking now I forgot to show, but I think that'll go in the next haul because this one is already probably so long. But I saw this collection and I knew I had to have it. You get 8 polishes. They come in the signature D-gel bottles with the nice long handles for easy use. I will still do all of the swatches here in this video so you can see how they perform. But here are the polishes. I just think this collection has such a nice range of colors for what it is, which is really like dark nudes and these deep red shades. Super, super pretty. I love this set and I'm so excited to use it. It should be next week's video if I can achieve the look I'm going for. I mentioned earlier, I'm thinking like Mel from Arcane. A, because of the rose theming, B, because of these colors. I just think that would match her so well. So yeah, these are stunning. I'll swatch them in a minute, but I just wanted to show you the swatch card. And then I also have this collection here, which is the Rosy Hip Quartz collection. I think I called it Gemstone earlier. It's not. It's the Quartz collection. These are also cat eye gels, but they are kind of opposite of that set in that these are all cool toned. So you get 12 cat eye gels. It does come with a swatch card and it comes with a bar magnet like this. And they're in your standard rosy hip bottles, which I do like. These trapezoidal shapes are really cool. They're nice and stable. You're not going to knock it over super easily. So I do like the rosy hip bottles and that you can see what color you're dealing with. But here is the swatch card for this set. I've already done this one as well. I just couldn't wait when I got this. These are so pretty. Normally, I don't actually gravitate too much towards like the cooler tones, but these ones were just stunning. I especially love this one right here. It's like this super deep denim blue and then this gorgeous violety purple shift. You do have more of your standard, like I've seen this shift a lot, and even like this one here. But the rest are really pretty, and I think cohesively as a collection, they're really nice. Yeah, I don't know. These just really drew me to them. They're just, I would say, quite different than a lot of the other pastel-y, bright-colored cat eye collections that I've been reviewing recently. So I'm super excited to play around with these. But let me go ahead and swatch both of these collections for you, and then we'll come back for my final thoughts on everything that I picked up. Okay, so starting with the swatches for the Gemstone collection, I tried to record this live, but at this point, my voice was just fully giving out. I don't even know how much better it is sounding right now, but I am recording my thoughts after the fact. This color here, stunning. This sort of like light sage green with the aqua blue, super pretty. I think I want to use it in sort of like an alien themed design of some sort. And then immediately after that, you have this almost like peachy pink with a pretty cool toned yellow shift to it that I think is a really nice contrast. I really appreciate the variety of colors you get in this collection, even though they are on the cooler side in terms of the base colors. You do still have some of those warm ones like that orange that we just saw, and then the magnetic shifts are all very like cool toned yellows, blues, greens, purples. That really brings the collection together, makes it feel super cohesive. Everything magnetized super easily, super well. They have a really nice thick formula, which I personally prefer. I mentioned it before, but with a thicker formula, it's easier to get a really nice thick layer where you can magnetize it once and not have to go in with 2 coats of the magnetic polish to build up the color. Although you definitely could if you're going for a more layered look, if you want specifically to layer them to create a specific effect. And all of these colors I do think look really good over black because they have a more sheer, almost jelly-like base. the color of the base polish is not going to show super well, but that shine, that gorgeous magnetic shift is going to really pop on a black background. So I do think that you can get a variety of uses out of this collection depending on if you want to use them alone, over a matching syrup color, or even over a black base. And I'm just super excited to play around with them. These like blues and greens here are very much reminding me of, it was a movie from the early like 2010s. I don't think it performed really well in the box office. It's called Sucker Punch, and it's very like anime inspired. There's a whole steampunk section. Another part is like cyberpunk, and these colors are really reminding me of that cyberpunk part. It very heavily features lots of like blues, green tones, and so maybe I'll see if I could do a look inspired by that. I think this color here is really interesting. It's like a super light pea green, like split pea soup type green. I think that some people are really gonna love it. Some people might dislike it. I personally thought the magnetic particles really brought out those green shades and made it a really interesting one for me. And then you do get kind of just like a straight silver. This is like a gray base with more of a white shine to it. It's just kind of more of a basic polish to help round out what I think is a really cool bright collection. I don't normally use the more bright flashy tones for cat eyes. I personally go for like the pastels or the reds, the golds, those kinds of tones. So I think it'll be really fun to challenge myself and play around with these brighter, cool tone cat eyes. I think one of my favorites has to be this one here with that like denim blue base, and then the almost periwinkle colored cat eye shift. This super bright teal green too is really gorgeous. And then that first one really surprised me. This like more muted sagey green with the teal magnetic particles. Yeah, I don't know. Those were the ones that really drew my eyes, and I can't wait to create something with these. And for our last collection, we have the D-Gel Dry Rose set. I was super excited to receive these because I haven't actually had much experience with D-Gel's cat eyes. I do have their liner paints, which I do plan on using in conjunction with this collection to do another portrait. My first portrait attempt was with my recent K-pop Demon Hunters set, where I did Rumi, and when I saw this collection, the color story, the name, I immediately thought Mel from Arcane because of the rose theming and the like reds and golds. I just thought this would be perfect for her. So I am going to attempt a portrait of her. We'll see how it goes. But like this gold here is so stunning. It's got these like gold flakes in it, along with the base color being a nice champagne gold and a really bright, strong magnetic shift. It's just giving royalty, regal, something that I think would be perfect for a Mel set. You also get some really nice copper tones in here. It's not just like nudes, pinks, reds, but you do get these two varying copper shades in the silky magnetic finish. These silky magnetic polishes are super glowy, really easy to magnetize. The polish itself, I would say, is in the kind of like medium viscosity. So they are easy to work with, they self-level pretty well, but these reds definitely stole the show for me. You get two sparkly red cat eye gels in slightly varying undertones. This one's more of like a cool toned red, while this one is more of like a warm toned brick red. These are the ones that I'm going to concentrate on for the rose elements of that set. Hopefully, we'll see how it goes. I'm still kind of scared of starting even because of how ambitious the design is, but I'm gonna give it a go. And then the last color here is a super stunning silky cat eye in kind of like a deep burgundy color. But yeah, I'm super excited about this collection. I'm already wearing it on my nails, as I mentioned in the beginning. I have on number, I think it's 227. The sparkly red cat eye. I think they're perfect for fall with this more like deeper red, sort of muted nature colors. although they'd also be really good for Valentine's Day and honestly even Halloween with some of those darker reds. I think you could get some awesome like gothic sets from this collection too. So yeah, excited to play around with these ones as well. Okay, so that was everything that I recently purchased and received from Sweetie Nail Supply. The things I'm most excited about using are probably the Gina paints. Those honestly look so cool. The texture is perfect, the consistency, the pigmentation is really good. I really want to get into like that oil paint kind of nuanced look where you're mimicking traditional art. I think those looks are so gorgeous, so I definitely want to dive into that world a little bit more and do a 3D textured nail art tutorial. I'm also really excited to play around with the gumi clays. I think that they're going to be awesome for doing little characters and things like that. The two cat eye collections, the dry rose and the quartz collection, both gorgeous. I think they're such good fall colors. The dry rose because it is more of that like muted, sort of warm toned browns, reds collection, and then the quartz collection because you have a lot of cool tones that honestly would be good for winter as well. I do plan on doing some short tutorials with those ones on my Instagram if you want to check that out, although I usually do upload them here on YouTube as well. I also really want to use that red and green more art ink to do like a little cherry set. I have a fun little twist that I'm thinking of including, but we'll see if I have time to do that here. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the products themselves. Now for my news. So I am very, very excited and blessed to announce that I am an official Sweetie Nail Supply brand ambassador now. So I just wanted to be really transparent with you all about what that means. Moving forward on my channel, there will be 2 videos a month that are going to be surrounding Sweetie Nail Supply product. One will be a haul featuring some PR that they're going to send to me, some things that I'll be able to review for you all, collections that you might be looking into. So I will try to put up regular polls on my community tab on my Instagram to see kind of like what collections you all might be interested in seeing swatched. That way I can just be a little bit more effective with what PR that I receive. So yes, one video will be a haul review type video, just like these ones, just like my normal hauls where I show off the new products that I received for that month. And then the other video will be some sort of nail art tutorial, some sort of design where I use some of the products that I received to actually showcase how they function in an actual look. But as always, my thoughts are all still my own. I'm not paid for these videos in like a typical, they pay me to say certain things about the products. They do just send them for me to review. So I just always want to be really transparent with my audience about like any sort of brand deals and things like that that I've got going on. So yeah, super excited for this chapter and super grateful to Sweetie Nail Supply for really supporting me from the beginning. When I was, you know, a much smaller channel, they took a chance on me, and so I really appreciate that. And I just love the quality of Korean Japanese nail products. I've tried a lot of brands before, and consistently the Korean and Japanese ones hold up. So I'm very thankful to Sweetie for making these available to US-based customers and to other customers around the world who can't buy them direct. Speaking of which, exciting news from Sweetie Nail Supply. If you're on their emailing list, you should have recently received an email explaining kind of how they're moving forward with the tariff situation. So unfortunately, if you are in the United States, the de minimis, the $800 minimum amount that would not incur tariffs is going away as of the 29th. So Sweetie Nail Supply has currently paused US shipments. They will be paying the customs upfront for us. So the customer is not going to incur that $15 to $80 customs fee when the package comes into the US. However, that does mean, unfortunately, for US-based customers, the prices are going to go up 10 to 15%. You'll still be able to save 10% with ambassador codes, with affiliate codes. So at least that helps some, but I do understand that it's unfortunate that the price has to go up. It just is what it is. Even if you buy directly from Korea now, you're gonna have, I think it's, what is Korea? 15% import fees. So yeah, just the way of the world right now, currently in the United States. But the good news is they also announced that they are actually trying to work on a US-based warehouse so that they can get rid of those fees from having to ship over the border. It's going to take a while. It is a big project for a small company. Their team is really small. I know that they have a lot of customers, and I know that it seems like they're growing really fast, but their team is very small. And so splitting their time over, two different warehouses is a project, but they are hoping to bring a US warehouse to fruition. They said maybe like mid to late 2026. So hopefully in a year we'll have our own US based warehouse, which I think would be so cool. The shipping is already pretty fast, but it might mean even quicker shipping. And obviously then they can hopefully cut back on those prices since they won't have to deal with customs and things like that. But yeah, I'm just like super excited about the option to get things directly here in the US from Sweetie Nail Supply. So yeah, shipping is currently paused. You can't order for the next week or so, but just check their socials. They're very open, transparent about what's going on, when shipping will resume and all of that kind of thing. So yes, that is all of the news. I really appreciate everyone who is watching, who's subscribed to the channel. Honestly, I cannot believe that I just hit 9,000. That's crazy to me. My goal is to hit 10,000 by the end of the year, and that's looking even more realistic now. So I'm just super grateful. Some of you know I went part-time at work this year, and so far it's been working out. Still quite scary, still quite kind of volatile with content creation being such an unstable type of work, but I love it. I love my community, which is so kind and caring and just really supportive. I still have a goal by the end of the year to release some 3D nail molds, but I'm still kind of working through that, getting back into my job, teaching and balancing content has been a bit of a struggle with being sick for like the past 2 weeks. I finally am feeling a little bit back to normal. Hopefully you can hear it in my voice. I know my last video was a little bit dicey in terms of how my voice sounded. So yes, looking forward to a full recovery and to making more content to share with you all. But I think that's enough yapping for me today. So if you are interested, check out my Discord for a really awesome community of nail artists. I have all of my discount links down below in my link tree if you would like to support me. I hope you are having a wonderful day wherever you are, and I will see you all for the next one. Bye. What's he doing back there? What are you doing, Spawn? What are you doing? You want to say hi? You want to say hi, Bug? Why are you staring at me like that? Huh? Buggy? What are you doing? He does not look amused right now.